Hello again, listeners. I'm Tom Rutia, and this is Triple Threat Episode 9, talking about The Who's Tommy, Part 2. To hear Part 1, go back and listen to Episode 6, where we gave the album some background, and then talked about the songs on the first two sides of the original vinyl LP, tracks 1 through 10 on the CD. In this episode, we'll pick up where we left off in the song list, and then at the end, give our final thoughts and rate the album. So let's get on with Part 2 of our conversation of us talking about The Who's Tommy, right here on Triple Threat. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
So that's all of side one there.
Yeah. So then you have to physically get up after your drug trip, flip the LP to start off with "Do You Think It's All Right" and "Fiddle About."
No, wait, that's the first
Spoiler,
disc.
it's
That
not
was all
all
the
right
first
at
disc.
all.
Well, yeah. Oh, it was the first. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Underture ends the first disc.
It was the
you've
first
already-
disc.
So you've already flipped it. Now
But
you gotta change
technically,
the disc.
technically, you still had to get up to change the vinyl record.
Yeah.
You start with "Do You Think It's
Did
All?"
more effort this time.
Exactly.
Take a record off and put another one on.
Yeah. It's a lost art. Now a record has to be 2 CDs long to do that.
Or this one is conveniently short enough to be put into a single CD, so you just throw it in and have a grand old time.
Screw it. Let's do it. And so, "Do You Think It's All Right" going into "Fiddle About," which is weird because it starts off kind of happy. You think that maybe something's going to happen that's going to be good. No.
You think it's alright? It's not alright,
Yeah.
mislaced.
Yeah, "Do You Think It's All Right" is another one of these little
Tidbits.
the narrative pieces. They say, okay, we're gonna move the story along now. Exposition, yeah.
Right. Because "Fiddle About" on itself is a song itself.
Oh yeah.
So you can't put them as one track. I mean, we discussed this when we did the Who Vocals podcast, that all of us, no matter how old we get, are at least a tiny bit freaked out when you hear "Fiddle About."
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And again, another Entwistle song.
Yeah.
Interesting why Pete wanted John to write this one too. But "Fiddle About" introduces us to Uncle Ernie, and Uncle Ernie is
He's a character.
he is quite a character. Who has been portrayed by Keith Moon and Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And those are just two.
And John, actually.
Oh, and John, that's right, live. But really, Keith and Phil put the character and put another character on top of that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I think even from the opening, again, kind of like Cousin Kevin and a lot like Boris the Spider, the descending dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
John's very good at oppressive riffs, you know.
He's
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're kind of musically related, Cousin Kevin and Uncle Ernie, because the characters are related. Uncle Ernie is Cousin Kevin's father.
In the movie,
I think they're on other sides of the family.
Are in succession, correct?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. I actually think Uncle Ernie was just, he was one of those characters call him your uncle. He's just a guy that I think the substitute father knew, which makes him all the more creepy. But
Oh, yes.
Yes.
but it's interesting. He didn't start out as just being the guy who wanted to have sex with little boys. Sodomy was hinted at much later, especially when Keith became Uncle Ernie, because he liked being crazy and sexually deviant and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I have in the book here.
Definitely get your parents' permission before watching that scene in the movie. By the way.
Oh my.
Yeah, this was back in 1975 when PG meant something.
And your parents probably would say no.
Dude, it is messed up. But anyway, so in the Who I Am, it talks about why Pete wouldn't write it and his experience with it, and he says, "I turned to John. Could he compose a song about an uncle, Ernie, abusing a boy? There didn't need to be any actual touching, just an onanistic voyeurism.
Which we will say a lot of people have not given that interpretation that is what the song is about. From the minute I heard it, that's what I thought the song was expletive.
Well, yeah, you see, you hear the line, the
down with your bedclothes, up with your nightshirt.
The infinitely creepy line.
Yes.
And you think, oh my gosh, she's taking off the boy's clothes and is gonna rape him.
This is gonna end poorly for poor little Tommy.
Yeah, but
will this boy have any luck?
Yes. Yeah, but like it said in the book, this is just this creepy guy watching him. It's not as bad as it has been made out to be more recently.
Well, yeah, I think ever since Keith's performance has sort of like crystallized it as this is the most popular interpretation of it.
Right.
So it's almost cemented in our Who infested minds.
Yeah.
That ever since that scene, it's become the definitive. This is what the song is about.
Yeah, and I loved the version they did when I saw the Oh So Close-O version. The actor playing Uncle Ernie came out in a nightgown with a shower cap and a rubber duck and a brush. And I think he had something around his waist. It was probably a floaty. And he was holding this rubber duck in his hand with the brush. And he was singing it, I'm your wicked Uncle Ernie, and I'm glad you won't see or hear me. And the song was very dainty the way it started out. As I fiddle about. And then as it got into the really, the oppressive fiddle, he just started brushing the duck even more so. And as he did, he gradually moved the brush and duck down to his groin area. So you're like, oh, that's what this is. I've also seen online... I saw a community theater version of Tommy, it was good. Anyway, they made some interesting choices. One of the things they decided, I guess, to make it more family friendly, was that while Tommy's parents were away, the Uncle Ernie, instead of being sexually creepy and everything, invited women over to the house and boozed with them, and probably got sexy time there, but nothing was explicit, of course. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way to do it. I think, I might be wrong, but I think they changed the line down with the bedclothes, up with the nightshirt to accommodate that. But it's been a while, I can't remember.
That'd be kind of interesting. I mean, would this play work as a family-friendly version? It's hard to tell. I mean, we'll go further into the story.
Yeah, Peter said, for the Broadway version especially, if you want to do this in your own community, then, do what you like with these parts that you may think need to be changed to be appropriate for your audience.
Right, because it's not like a lot of playwrights who will say, no, this is the way it has to be performed. Us as who
like
fans.
Tennessee Williams, who I'm glad is dead.
Oh. Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
But I'm talking about, for us who fans, some of us might be a little disappointed to see it in that family-friendly way.
Yeah.
Right. But again, this song, it does creep me out, but I can see what you're getting with it. But really, it's the next song that really, not only is it family friendly, but it became critic friendly for the story.
Yeah.
Do you want to give the backstory to this?
I think we've already touched on it in our last video.
Okay. Well...
Pinball Wizard, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes!
The big one. The one you've been waiting for, and it's halfway through the album, so you can turn it off at... No, don't. Yeah, Pinball Wizard, man. Not much more can be said about this.
You really can't. I mean, yes, it is played, it gets played a lot, but for good reason. I mean, Pete has dismissed this song, but as we've said, he easily could have dropped it. But if you're satisfying a Who crowd, you're not going to play Pinball Wizard.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just the way that I remember hearing it, and the opening itself kind of drew me into this, because it grew and grew and grew, and then John's bass comes in, and then the vocals, and then the drums, and then everything just sort of built as if to say, this is probably either the grandiose of this musical, or it's like in every musical, there's a big... number. It's like Monty Python. This is the song that goes like this.
It's the big dance number in a musical.
Yes, it's the
I got rhythm.
Yeah.
It's the do you hear the people sing?
Right. It's the be our guest. It's the
fun one.
Yes, it's the fun song that people look forward to. It's the fun one, and It's weird because even though I didn't get the story for years, this is one of the songs that I got the story from the minute I heard it. I thought Tommy's being a pinball wizard, and he.
Their words.
Yeah, and some people are not taking it too friendly, especially
The narrator.
yeah, the narrator himself, who is the pinball wizard to begin with.
Yeah.
When the song begins, so it was weird that song could tell a story, and then I found out the rest of the story later. But it does work on its own as a story because it wasn't supposed to be in the entire narrative to begin with.
Yeah, it had to be released as a single, so they had to give it its own smaller plot line, which is excellent.
Yes. Before we forget, Becca, was there anything you want to say about the song?
Really good.
Yeah, it's like what Garrett said.
It's the good one.
Yes.
It's really, it's the single of the album.
It is the single.
It is.
It's the one that you know as soon as you hear the riff, you're like, yes!
Right, yeah, you know what's coming, and you know...
This is about good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and...
I don't think that it can stand alone without, as also be a crucial part of the album. Just pretty much, it's one of the defining parts of the album.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much goes, this kid, he's deaf, dumb, and blind, but look, he's going to do this thing, and this is going to affect some people.
Yeah.
Here's the story in pretty much a nutshell. Let's release it as a single.
Right.
Right. It has the ability, because, like you said, it does stand on its own as a single. It has the ability that when people hear it, in context of the album, they, like we said, they look forward to it, and they know that song by heart because it's played all the time on the radio, and we know, at least I personally didn't get the original. I thought it was okay. Then I know Garrett dismissed this, but I heard Elton John's cover and just smoked. I became an instant Pinball Wizard fan. And yes, I will sometimes argue that Elton John's cover is a bit better, but that's because I was a piano geek first. So I love that he took essentially a guitar song and he broke it down for his band to do a piano heavy cover of it, and it was just it was unbelievable that he could do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, Tom, this is the part where I punch you, right?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, and what's really cool is that Pinball Wizard almost didn't happen because Pete hated it so much when he wrote it. He threw it together in 20 minutes because he knew there was a critic that loved pinball. So he said, I'm just going to suck up to his ass. And then, yeah. And then he played it. All right, not the best choice of words.
No.
But so he played it for the band, and everyone went, yes, Pete, you've written a number one. I kind of feel like Pinball Wizard single-handedly made Tommy successful as an album.
It did. And to think about what you said, Pete, they played the original for the critic. Critic's like, it's okay. Played the song for the critic, and critic says, you have a smash. And Pete easily could have said, you know what, it could be like a separate single, kind of like The Seeker. It's a separate single by itself. You can't put it on this album. You can't put it, well, you could put it on Who's Next, but it's a standalone. Could he easily have abandoned it? Yes, but like you said, would this album have worked? It's hard to think this album would work without it.
Right.
Because we're so used to it that it's the center point that everybody, points to. And
it links, the beginning of the album with Christmas and the end of the album with We're Not Gonna Take It, where they mention more pinball. And yeah, it acts as a great bridge.
And to Pete's point, I'm going to be really blunt. If you take it from this perspective of Pete, some of the lyrics there are not quite top notch.
No.
I mean, how do you think he does it? I don't know. What makes him so good?
Whoa.
Yeah, they're not exactly. I mean, no, it's not Won't Get Fooled Again. It's not My Generation.
But it is what it is, and
yes.
What it is total pop.
Right. It is one of the song. Yeah, it is the song that I think the most fans know, and I will stress that sure, here we are ranting about how maybe it's not great, but I look forward to this song every time, and it just makes my listening experience a lot better. So
exactly.
I'm going to be quiet about it.
Also, real fast note, the production on this song is top-notch, though. This is probably the best produced song on the album because it has a powerful electric and acoustic guitar throughout, instead of the kind of weak little, hardly trying electric guitar through most of the album. and it sounds like a pinball machine. Peter said it himself. He was amazed at how the song emulated the experience of playing pinball. And when you listen to this song while playing pinball, you just kind of had a bit of an inception moment and your head explodes.
On the boardwalk for an entire night.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's getting darker and darker, and your parents are running out of quarters, and they're like, "Come on, we gotta go," and you're like, "No,
No, I must play.
Go around on Pinball Wizard. It's about to become the most played song on my iPod.
There you go.
I need another quarter. You suck at pinball. You need to leave. We gotta go home. No, we don't."
What's up, Internet? This is Garrett Hicks, co-host of the Triple Threat podcast. You'll normally find me gushing about one of the 3 bands we cover in Triple Threat, but recently I've been branching out. Join me on a musical journey through time as I make reviews for albums right after listening to them. There will be reviews for Broadway musicals, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, Starbomb, Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, Stevie Wonder, Queen, Julian Lennon, U2, R.E.M., Nirvana, Green Day, Radiohead, The White Stripes, Curtis Stephen, Imagine Dragons, Elliot Morris, Peter Gabriel, and many more. You can find Amazing Journey at mixcloud.com/amazing-journey with a new show every weekend. Sickness will surely trap the mind, but minds were meant to flow. Come on the amazing journey. We'll learn all we should know.
And we are back talking about Tommy. No, not me, but that'd be selfish. Talking about Tommy by The Who, released in '69. And we are talking about the songs on it, and we're up to There's a Doctor and Go to the Mirror Boy. I will be There's a Doctor Go to the Mirror. It's a very pleasant tune for me. I find it very, very plunky, it is very joyful because there's a doctor I found who can cure the boy. A doctor I found who can cure the boy.
Oh boy, there's a doctor he's found who could cure the boy. It's very musical like that. I think
it is kind of
musical theater, that is.
It is kind of hokey, but you give it to them.
Yeah. Especially, I like the version from the '89 tour where it just does a ridiculous drum solo thing for a little while, and then the vocals come in, and it's super fast and super deadpan, and it's just like, no, I'm thinking of Miracle Cure. Never mind.
But I was
crap.
And actually, There's a Doctor I Found this was actually supposed to go after Young Man Blues in the original track listing of it.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, I don't see it as it fits on Tommy. It's a nice outtake.
Yeah.
But it doesn't I don't think it fits the story, but I don't know, I'll have to try with that. But Go to the Mirror, I think it's probably one of the first heavy songs on this album.
This is again, it's one of my favorite. I bet this is my favorite song on the album, because I really like just the amount of stuff going on in this song. Because first of all, you have the main riff, which is amazing. Again, riffs in this album, and the main melody going on, where it's the doctor explaining to Tommy's mother and probably his father as well, this is what's happening here, and it's really confusing, and I'm not quite sure what's going on, but at least I can tell you what I see from my instruments and observations. And then you're interrupted time and again by Tommy, who's constantly reaching out, trying to get some kind of reaction from someone else, and then at the end, Tommy seems to make some kind of epiphany, some kind of revelation, because this is the first time I believe you hear the listening to you part.
Yeah, that's right.
He makes some kind of breakthrough, and I think this section of listening to you, even though it's the only the 4 lines, it's better than the end of the album,
right?
Because it's already moving,
and it doesn't go on forever.
Well, I feel like it should go on longer, but it's already moving pretty quickly and everything, and it's great.
And I like that you said that he makes a connection, because that does lead into the next track. But actually, kind of Go to the Mirror. If any of you have ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I haven't, and I will get there, pray to God.
Oh, I just got it. That goes to listening to you because he just found the mirror.
Yeah.
Duh.
But if you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there is an exhibit they have where they have the 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. And the Who, I have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 of them. And one of the they pick is Go to the Mirror Boy, which I looked at that with a very quizzical look.
Get out.
But you have to represent, if they're choosing to represent Tommy and they pick this song, I can see why. Because we said Pinball Wizard, if you pick it to represent Tommy, yes. Pinball Wizard, does it stand on its own? Yes. Go to the Mirror, it helps. Does it stand on its own? Probably not.
No.
But if you're going to choose one track to represent this album, I can see why they picked it. I'm like, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting choice, which leads into another happy-go-lucky song, the one that my Uncle Juan teased me when I was so young and don't remember. Tommy, can you hear me?
What?
Tommy, oh,
Wait, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the Skype microphone here. Tommy,
yeah?
can you hear me?
Oh, I thought we weren't going to do this. No, but I will say it is very, it's very it is playful, and it is very I mean, you see the video in your mind of them literally bouncing to this
Oh
song.
my gosh, of Keith just hopping around. What a freaking cutie.
And like he waves the head when he does the little ooh.
Well, yes, that's like my favorite part of the whole video. Yeah.
And then but you pause the video like every second, and like at least 3 of them each have like this really like dim-witted smile on their face.
Because it's that kind of song, you know?
Yeah.
There's this feel-good acoustic-y, strummy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every time I hear that song, I have to do the little
You have to do the bounce.
side to
totally.
side thing.
Yeah.
Especially that last ooh, you gotta do the
Ooh, you gotta do the head shake.
Oh,
Just like the Beatles.
oh gosh.
Keith is a cutie.
But
Oh, okay.
so that's an interesting about this song because it's so happy, even though this is basically, this is Mrs. Walker.
Just
and
like, okay, so my
probably
son's a
both of them.
sentient being. He just doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because Tommy made a connection, she's like the operator, like retrieving the call.
Yeah.
She's trying to reach back to him. And you're talking about the cutest of Keith. Have you ever heard the version that's on the Kids Are Alright soundtrack?
Yeah.
Where it actually goes a little bit longer and
It doesn't fade out. Yeah.
and what does Keith do at the end of that one?
Or you just hear Roger going, Tommy, Tommy,
Which freaked me
Tommy,
out.
which is really cool, by the way. I love how that song
Which freaked
ends.
me out as a kid a little bit.
And but then on the Kids Are All Right version, it's Tommy, Tommy, and then Keith just randomly comes in with hello.
Very
Keith.
very bizarre and very cute.
I'm
And
like, oh, there he is. Tommy can hear me now. Right, excellent. Okay, end of story.
Alright,
Bye
that's
bye.
all. Album over. Goodbye. You can all go home.
but that's Keith's humor.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny when I heard that, and it was so out of place because you hear the not fade, like, oh cool, they didn't fade it, and then you think the track's over, and then now it's like, oh, right, he's here.
Nice to see you too.
Oh, Keith Moon, you.
Rapscallion.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, then we go to Smash the...
Before, real quick, it's a very interesting way they do this on the album versus other media, like especially the movie version, where it seems this song is set in much more exasperated and tired and weary light. Where he's like, Tommy, please say you can just, please, can you hear me?
And that's really...
I really want to be done with this.
And that's
sort of
good.
thing.
You were saying how it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Especially, the next song, which is kind of like the, I'm putting an end to this.
Yeah.
And, the desperation, and you go to Smash the Mirror. Very funky sound. Even the opening drums to that little bit of from the guitar slide at the beginning.
Yeah.
Very funky bit of it. And I gotta say, who really stands out on this track, other than Roger, is Keith. I think his drumming stands out on this track very much so. Just that very intricate part at the beginning. And, I mean, we talk about Keith, and how brilliant he is. I mean, if you know his harmonies, I can picture him doing the harmonies on the rise, like the whole octave higher, really giving it that push in that segment there. It's just,
Man, that rise bit, whoa.
right.
That's first off, that's a pretty theatrical thing to do. and it doesn't disappoint. It never doesn't work. That part just excellent. Especially when you see it like I did on stage, with just one vocalist. Well, and she punched it. Oh, it was amazing. Anyway,
that's another song that I would. It's again not a very long song, but it's one of the songs that if I see a stage production because of that rise section, I'd like to see how they handle it.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to see that. And again,
and of course at the end there, which is excellent, you actually hear the mirror getting smashed, which I thought was a nice touch. It adds a little bit of Pink Floydiness to it almost, because you don't hear a lot of sound effects on Who records.
Right, except if you count like Music Must Change with the little coin drop at the beginning.
Yeah, but that comes later.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you're right. This is really one of the first times they actually, they tried doing it.
Yeah, and Music Must Change is different because that song is all about atmosphere.
Right, definitely. So again, like, Smash the Mirror, I think is a really good. It's a filler song to me, but it's a really good filler song.
Yeah, this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, it really kind of moves it along. Did you have anything to say, Becca, or should we just move on?
Let's just move on.
Okay, because we move on to. This is a song that, thanks to Garrett, has now become one that I look forward to now.
Yeah.
Sensation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because when we talk about riffs, I mean, there really is a riff throughout this whole song that goes through, but you almost don't even notice it because it sounds like another song in the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you feel me coming. I know, I'm sorry, I made that pun, but you feel the song really come at you because it starts. I mean, this is one of the songs that really kind of confused me. I mean, until I got the point that when he smashes the mirror, he kind of becomes alive. He is a sensation.
Yeah, and that's really, and I love the double meaning of sensation in this, and that if you know anything about the plot, you know that Tommy experienced everything through sensation, through touch, and then he puts this double meaning on it that not only do I help people feel this amazing literal sensation, but also I am a sensation. I am the shit right now.
I am the pinball wizard. Bow before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm the new messiah. I am the latest craze to hit everything, baby.
Yeah. It was like I was already awesome, but when he thought I couldn't, I got more awesome.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we talk about how the song is kind of important, but yet the Who dropped it in their live sets
most of the time. Yeah.
And you have to wonder why.
I kind of feel it doesn't add that much to the story.
I see why other songs were dropped, but if I had to pick one to put in, this would be it.
Yeah, it also kind of goes on for a live show where you have to get through it in 2 hours. It kind of just goes on a little bit too long.
Like you want to keep the story going.
Yeah, I mean, Sally Simpson got the axe most of the time because it's just kind of another subplot in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I will say to your point, the
live version of this in the '89 tour that you can find on Joined Together is it's a sublime.
Yeah, Pete's vocals alone. If you want to just fall out of your chair, for that is so brilliant. And I actually. Maybe some songs do kind of cop out an ending. This one, I really like the way this song ends with that sort of like
the fade out there.
No, I'm talking about like in like live when you have when you have to give it an ending for live. This I am the light, and there's this chord, and you kind of feel like there has to be another song after this because that chord kind of leaves you in suspension. And I don't think it even fits with the key it's in, but it was. I thought it was a great move. It really added to the theatricality of this album.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially when he did that live. It's like it was already theatrical, but we can make it even more. We can make it better.
Indeed.
We can make this, a brand new sensation for the audience, so to speak, who are experiencing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, actually I was about to set up a really bad segue.
Good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Speaking of segues and lack of good ones.
Yeah, extra, read all about it.
Oh.
You alluded to, Sally Simpson comes next. You alluded to this. I like this song. I don't know why it belongs here.
Miracle Cure?
No, I'm talking about Sally Simpson.
Well, let's get on Miracle Cure. Why are you skipping?
I like that song, but I don't get fits in.
Sally? Oh,
I enjoy it. I like it in the movie. It's a pleasant little song, but it's like a little subplot. Like what is what do?
Right. I kind of feel like that's kind of like, a plot hole they put in there that doesn't go anywhere.
I like it,
Yeah.
but I think
It is a good song.
I think its main purpose is that for most of the album, you hear it from Tommy's point of view or that of his parents because they're the main characters. It's nice to take a look at it from an outside perspective, and that's what this is for. And it shows, exactly how people are reacting to Tommy's Messiah nature now. And, you see, he's famous. He's got shows lined up. He's got crowds gathering. People are actually taking part and listening to what he's saying. And he's gathering a significant following. And so, but also through Sally Simpson, you see that he's not perfect. You see someone get tossed by the wayside, Sally, who, due to the establishment he has to create, the little society he makes of, bouncers to keep himself safe and, people and policemen to keep the people in line at his, concerts or whatever, his presentations. He has to, that unfortunately has casualties, and Sally's one of those. So you see, it makes an entirely different perspective of what Tommy is doing now that he's been cured.
I will agree with Becca. It is a pleasant song, and I do find myself singing along to it almost every time I hear it, because it is very acoustic heavy, and Roger's vocals are very kind of plain, very kind of sing along style to it. Yes, it doesn't exactly fit 100%. Would I have enjoyed this as like a bonus track, like a song that almost made the final lineup, but we decided it didn't really fit? Would I have enjoyed it then? Probably a bit more.
Sure.
But I will say. I'm not saying I hate it.
No.
But if we're talking about the continuity of it, this seems kind of like they had this leftover song and like, oh, we'll just put it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to
I still think what I have said made so much sense.
It did.
Smoke my little pipe here.
It made quite a bit of sense.
Well,
Thank
then,
you.
Yeah, well, then you can have your own show.
All right. Next one.
I'm Free.
Yee.
Becca?
I prefer live versions of this
Indeed.
far more than the studio version.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now.
As the studio version is kind of, what? Huh? Okay, cool. And then I'm Free is just in the live versions kicks you in the pants and you want more.
That's the movie version, and pretty much any of the faster renditions,
Yeah.
faster, heavier.
Electric versions.
That sounds more like the liberation from whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
oftentimes.
oh, look, I'm free. How nice is that? As opposed to just screaming like, I'm free! Look at this! I was like this isolated little thing for forever, and now I can go do things!
That's why I think the movie version, I have in my notes, movie version, to me, I wish that was the definitive version.
As do I.
Because, even from, like you said...
Sense, the emotion it conveys.
Yeah.
Yes, like you said, from Roger's opening, I'm free. It's like, bust out of the gate and dive into the pool. I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, again, going back to the Beatles. It's like in A Hard Day's Night when they break out of the studio and they run around during Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah.
Out!
That's what I think of. It's so good, and I will bring around the themes. I love, that he does bring back the Pinball Wizard riff a bit here, and
Yes, I like that.
I do. I like that very much, and maybe that's why I'm Free was actually chosen as the second single.
Yeah.
Because
you knew someone would recognize that and be like, oh, they're playing Pinball.
Oh no, they're not.
Ish. Well, I recognize that, so I think this is a good song.
This is a good song. Yeah, it didn't do as well as Pinball Wizard, obviously, in the charts. Pinball Wizard went to number 19 in the U.S., and I'm Free only went to number 37. But still top 40 hits, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, like I said, really great song, but I do prefer the live version.
Yeah, I also like bits of this song where, again, it's exploring Tommy's ministry, where he comes out as being very inviting, kind of like Sensation. But it also says, in the middle-ish bit where it goes, I think it's a minor key. I might be wrong. I don't know any musical theory.
Oh, it is. I had the sheet music.
And where he goes, if I told you what it takes to reach the highest high, you'd laugh in my face, and you'd say, "No way, no,
Right.
can't be that easy."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's him saying to his followers, who eventually completely ignore him, this is not going to be a very easy to understand route. You won't immediately embrace everything I have to say to you. And it's one of those things. Tommy's the only one who's been there and who has his revelation. And so he can't really adequately express himself in this. So he gives that warning, and it's there, so you can't say he didn't say anything about it.
Right, but that's no difference from people like Jehovah's Witnesses who are trying to explain God to you in a nutshell. It's a bit more complicated than that. Like if you were to introduce someone to God and say he's the ultimate Messiah, people would laugh and say nothing's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, from the way I've grown up, you could say something as complex as God. It's in the Bible verse I really like. God is love.
It's no different from any of that.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said, but it is. I do like the message of it, and him trying to convey his followers, which because I'm free, he kind of ropes his followers and to kind of convey them, which leads very well into Welcome, the next track.
Oh, Welcome.
Welcome. But I will say it is interesting that I'm Free and Welcome was not played live. I'm Free was because it was a single.
Yeah.
But
and because it's a kick-ass song.
But it did kick ass live. But I feel like if you were watching it live in '70 and you didn't know the album, you may have problems following it. Especially at this point. I mean, I want to be honest. Welcome.
Wait, is he Jesus now? What?
He's Jesus now. That's again why I said this point in the album for me, it still probably does a little bit. I mean, listening to it now, I'm getting a better picture of it, but it went in like 80 different directions. I was like, okay, he was reincarnated. He's Jesus now. He's a pinball wizard.
Reincarnated.
Yeah.
Reincarnated. Reincarnated. Yes.
Is that what I said?
Don't worry about it.
Sorry, people.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. I found it.
Sorry, we can be dyslexic sometimes. Dyslexic, whatever.
But I like Welcome. It's not you obviously know it's not my favorite song on the album because it's not Acid Queen.
Oh yeah.
But I don't. It's weird. It's one of those songs I listen to it and I go, "That's nice. Can we please move on?" Because really, what did you guys have anything to say about Welcome?
Pretty much nothing. I don't really have any strong feelings one way or the other about this song.
Exactly.
It's just kind of there.
Yeah. There was a point. I've had a weird relationship with this song. There was a point where I absolutely loved it and I wanted to listen to it on repeat all day long. Damn it. And then there was a point where I didn't want to hear it ever again at all. And there was a time through most of high school actually that my Tommy album in my iTunes did not include Welcome because I would go straight from I'm Free to Tommy's Holiday Camp because I just thought I kind of still do feel that Welcome is like a big rock in a stream. It just kind of makes you trip in the middle of it, and you go, "What?
Right.
Can we get on with it?"
Yeah.
Why is this here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but to be fair, it's not like they had this and say, "Well, put it here." It does fit. But
yes,
it
fits narratively.
Yeah. It's like the scene before the battle in the movie. You don't want to see the scene before. You want to skip to the big, the
climax.
Yeah, the climax.
The action's at. Where it at?
Yeah, which brings us to...
Don't you dare end a sentence with a preposition.
Oh, stop it. We are not a grammar-related show.
Don't worry about it.
So that moves us to...
But anyway, for Welcome, it's about Tommy... He has to have a place where his community can feel at home, so he welcomes them into his own house, but eventually gets too big and they have to move somewhere else, which leads us to...
Tommy's Holiday Camp, which is a good point you brought that up because Pete actually didn't really know how to write this song because he was kind of stuck, which is why people, I hate to break your hearts if you're a Keith fan, Keith did not write this one, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And now Becca's doing the "oh darn"
I'm a
face.
little sad.
Yeah.
No, but Keith, he didn't write it, but he did get credit for it, and so he probably got a nice paycheck for
Yeah,
it.
because it was his idea that Tommy have his community meet in a holiday camp. Instead of, it was going to be like a temple or something. And Pete was going, golly, this sounds pretentious.
I feel bad for him because it's almost like he wrote "welcome" and he's like, "Great, where do I go next?"
Yeah. And then Keith just said, well, let's put him in a holiday camp. It's goofy enough, right?
Right, and Pete was like, "That's a good idea," and Keith
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and write it." He's like, "Oh no, Keith, I've already written it."
Yeah.
Because did he not trust Keith's songwriting? I mean, this was 2 years before Wasp Man, but
But it's also 2 years after Girl's Eyes.
but that's a
So,
good,
there you
but
go.
That's a good song.
but that's a good pop song.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Song.
Right, but Tommy's Holiday Camp, and also, you listen to it, and you think it's Keith Moon singing.
That's Pete singing.
It is Pete singing because that's actually a demo.
Yeah.
They actually used his Pete's original demo. There is a, kind of fast forwarding, there's a version on the Tommy Deluxe where the band is actually trying it out.
Yeah, without vocals.
Yeah, and for some reason they decided to go with Pete's demo, which I don't know if it works. I mean, I could have easily substituted the band version in myself. But I like it. I do like it, and I thought it was Keith singing it. I was kind of like,
I thought it was Keith singing to this day.
yeah.
Sorry.
I'm really upset.
Sorry
That's
to
why I
wreck
just-
your hopes and dreams,
That
but...
probably just knocked down your peg for the final rating that we're gonna give.
Aw. No. But,
But also, you watch the video. You also watch the video, and Keith
Yeah.
is singing it.
yeah,
Yes.
he's sinking to it.
Right.
I really like Tommy's Holiday Camp. It's a fun little do-do-do.
It's such a
Just
great
listen to the organ on it. It's just so fun. You
Right.
come out of Welcome, which is so serious and so kind of...
boring. And
Yeah.
then you fling yourself in and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like
And they
you're
go, oh, hey, cool.
Yeah.
zaniness again. We're back to this. We're back to this.
Yeah.
It's good morning, campers.
Yes.
Which
Good morning,
is
campers.
especially...
As you were probably sleeping from the previous number.
Yeah.
So, wake up, bitches, here we go.
Yeah.
Bitches here. That's a very accurate summary. of-
Especially the
What are
way...
you gonna go around changing lyrics now?
Especially with...
Bitches. I'm going.
Especially with, as I've said before, Phil Collins doing this one. Mwah! Excellent.
Yeah.
Bitches.
Yeah. Excellent in a pretty weird way.
Yeah, well...
Right. And of course, we talk about you can't help when you do the song. I mean, I also see the video of Keith lip singing to this, and he also shakes his head when he does the forever. Ha ha!
Yeah,
And then and of course it ends with the brilliant welcome.
yep.
Which is just will lead you. Something is gonna this is all gonna go wrong in the next
yes.
song. So we're not gonna take it.
Yep.
Man, what can you say about this? This is
It's about to go down.
yeah. This is not the Twisted Sister song, which I actually thought it was for years. But I really like. I mean, there are times where I feel like it does go on a bit too long, especially with
Shut
with the "See Me Feel Me" at the end. But
No, that's a different song.
well, but it is. But most people
I don't care. It's a different
don't
song.
know that. But we're not going to take it. I think is actually a really nice closer. There are some times listening to this album, if I'm in a certain mode, I wish that the album probably ended a bit, better or had a different track. But I actually don't mind this as the closing track.
No, but let's think of "See Me Feel Me" as different from "We're Not Gonna Take It."
But I'm still talking about.
Okay, gotcha.
we're
Never
not gonna
mind.
take
Sorry
it.
about that.
Yeah, there are some times where I wish that maybe the campers didn't turn against him,
Well, sorry. This is the bleak reality of life that Pete's trying to present.
which is why I like it a lot more now.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yeah, and this was the only thing in the stage production I saw that disappointed me was that instead of having the campers rebel against Tommy, and it doesn't say it in the song really, but they kill his parents, and
on stage.
no, not on stage, but in the narrative of the story, they kill his parents.
But yeah,
definitely,
duh.
that happened in the movie as well, to drive the point home. And, so ends kind of bleakly. But then, first off, the riff in this song, brilliant. I keep going back to the riffs, but hey, it's the defining feature.
It's a riff-heavy album, definitely.
Yeah, and I really like. I just really like this one. It's great, the way it flows and everything. I'm not a huge fan of the first refrain being whispered. But
yeah, that kind of threw me off too.
Yeah,
a little bit. But
Becca, what's that face?
The whisper. I don't like the first whispered refrain.
Yeah,
right.
I used to like it, and then recently I just like, what is this crap?
Don't do that.
No, because they can't do that on stage, so they always made sure to sing it. Thank God.
Definitely.
And it really sends home when you hear what Tommy's talking about, like, I'm gonna have to plug your ears and cover your eyes and then stick a cork in your mouth, and then you're gonna play pinball, and then you immediately know, okay,
it's like
this is weird.
Little strange.
Yeah. Nobody in their right mind is gonna take this.
Right. It's almost
about guy, and it's like, we're not gonna take it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the attention that Tommy almost went to his head.
Yeah.
And the campers are like, dude, you need to calm down. But it gets to a point that they said, you know what? We're not going to take it.
Screw it. Bye. We're going to kill your parents.
Right. And then that leaves...
And then Batman was born.
Your parents.
Yeah.
And then Tommy became Batman. Wait.
No. and then Tommy, because of that, he kind of goes back to where he was originally. He's all alone. And does he actually become deaf, dumb, and blind again?
It's suggested... Because the only time you ever hear him say "see me, feel me" is when he was deaf, dumb, and blind.
Right.
As soon as he was cured, none of that happened ever again.
Right. But maybe this time it changes a bit differently because he's lost a lot of followers and he realized, I've only been alive for X amount of time and I just lost a bunch of people who could have been my friends. And now my parents are.
I want to be seen.
My parents are dead.
Right. My parents are dead. They've loved me. My parents are not my friends anymore because they are, dead now.
Because they are dead.
Yes. And so now, I'm all alone. And now he doesn't have to be deaf, dumb, and blind. He's saying to somebody, see me, physically see me, feel what I am communicating to you.
I want to be loved. I want to be noticed. I want to do a thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I think this really works well because, again, I didn't like it as a kid because it was really depressing, but I appreciate it a lot more now. And it really, not everything's going to have a happy ending to it.
Yeah.
And so I think this was a really good choice for See Me, Feel Me. Yes, I will agree, live takes on a whole new meaning to this.
Oh, yes. Live is infinitely better.
Yeah.
Right. You almost wish that they found a way to end this like they did in the live version as they were making it.
Yep.
Because it just sort of fades. Fading, it does work in the continuity because it kind of ends of his saying, and Tommy never found another friend ever again.
The end,
and it kind of fades out. It is left to interpretation. You could easily, you could write Tommy 2, he is found.
No.
But you know what I mean. It kind of
happens with sequels.
Right.
Well,
it fades out, kind of leaving to your own interpretation. But the majority of you think is that it's not going to happen because he's still asking, he's still pleading.
Yeah.
As it fades away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So, as you can tell our listeners, we pretty much just beat on this album, so we have nothing good to say about it.
No.
But you know what? We always rate these things, so let's go around and rate Tommy the album. Who wants to start?
Do we have to do the creative rating thing again? Because I'm really bad at that.
You can just rate any way you want. A scale, a number, a letter. I'll tell you what, I'll go first. How's that?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, on my own scale myself, you know what? I'm going to go simple on this. I'm going to go with a letter grade. This is kind of weird. I feel like if this was Pete's, if I was teaching a college class and said, write a story for your final essay and give this to me, and Pete gave it to me, I'm going to give this album an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an A+. I'm sorry.
That's Quadrophenia.
That's Quadrophenia. Definitely is an A+.
Quadrophenia is like A with a bunch of pluses after it.
If there were a letter before A, it would not be enough for this.
If there's one of those video games that gives things goes up into the S ranks for super or whatever.
There you go.
Right.
So it'd be like an SS.
Yeah.
Right. So simple.
So like a skateboarding video game album, I'm gonna give this one an A rank trick.
Right. That's actually a really good point. So, like I said, simple letter grade, I'm going to give it an A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to say, out of my 5 TARDISes, I'm going to give this one 4. Because...
Why 4? I'm just curious.
4 because it definitely has some moments where it's a bit weaker, as we've said.
Welcome.
Yeah, as welcome, we could probably... I still prefer to have Underture at the very end to make a better send-off than See Me, Feel Me, which...
I like See Me, Feel Me as a send-off. You are wrong.
Right.
My opinion is different.
We didn't say it was bad. We just think it got better live.
Better.
Yeah, it got better.
Yeah,
So
and some of the songs just kind of, all of the songs are good. Some of, well, maybe not welcome. Maybe not welcome. But some of them just kind of fall a bit flat, and the others. And also, that would really only take about half a point off for me, but the other half of the TARDIS I'm taking off is for that stupid electric guitar. The fact that they just didn't have time to make the album as produced as they want it to, and have electric and acoustic guitar. A powerful electric guitar, not this dinky little thing that we're stuck with. And I know that's a bit of a nitpick, but because it permeates the album so entirely, I feel like I can't ignore it.
Well, we are literally analyzing this album and taking it bit by bit to see what parts don't stand out.
Yeah. And so that's why, I would much prefer pretty much any live version of Tommy to any of the songs on the album.
Right. And we should say that Tommy has come out live. There's live at Leeds. There's live at Hull. There's live at the Isle of Wight.
Live 89. Roger Daltrey's just done a bunch of live shows in the last couple of years.
They're all on iTunes, so you can.
Oh yeah, they are.
You can find them. So you feel like you're gonna give this a solid 4 out of 5.
4 TARDISes out of 5.
Okay, Miss Becca.
I'm going with my skateboarding video game ranking. Highest ranking you get on these things, or maybe not. Is it also? I think Sonic Riders or some garbage game like that. Really bad games that involve tricks typically have a scale from SS down to S to A, then B, then C, much like school grades. So SS would be Super Saiyan or something like that, or Super Duper if there's no D in there. So out of that bull crap garbage scale, gonna have to give this an A.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good album. It's you done good, kid. Classic.
Yeah.
But there are points where it knocks your socks off, but it's not the entire album.
Right. But the parts that do knock your socks off, maybe sometimes do make up for the stuff that falls flat.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Like Sparks alone, I'll take Sparks over Welcome because Sparks just kicks my butt.
Yeah. I'll still just throw the CD and listen to it front to finish, and I'll be satisfied coming out.
Right. So, all right, so that's good. We got 2 A's and a 4 out of 5. That's good. So those listening,
which is basically an A for me.
Right. So for those listening who haven't heard it, you can tell we really like this album. We encourage you, you buy it, you stream it, you download it, or whatever, go to a Who concert or something like that. So ever you can find it. It's been on almost every list for best albums. Rolling Stone put it at number 98 of their list of 500 greatest albums of all time.
Nice.
And no, I actually don't have the magazine in front of me. I know that by heart. It was the second highest Who rating, of course, after Who's Next.
Yeah.
So you can tell this album is really acclaimed. It got critical praise. It's been performed live a lot. And most people, when they go back to the whole idea of rock operas with stuff like Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie, or American Idiot by Green Day, or even something like Yoshimi versus the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips, they'll all point to
come back here.
They'll all come back to Tommy as the first rock opera.
And one of the best. This is the example you say, all right, kids, this is how you do it, and you do it right.
Right, exactly. So, from all of us at Triple Threat, we're going to say good night. Joining me was Becca Christino, Garrett Hicks,
Toodaloo, lovelies.
And for all of us here at Triple Threat, good night and have a wonderful time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Good evening, Ambrose.
Yeah, take care.
This concludes part 2 of our conversation of us talking about the Who's Tommy right here on Triple Threat. To let us know what you think of the album or this episode, you can visit our website, www.mixcloud.com/triplethreat, where you can send us your comments and listen to the other episodes of the show. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Triple Threat, so until next time, take care, and thanks for listening.
I don't know why, but I have this strange picture that, you know, you're talking about the duck in the brush. I'm thinking of like Ernie from Sesame Street being very innocent.
Oh, stop!
No!
Childhood ruined.
I blame you. I blame you for
on the
this.
floor.
I blame you for this.
No.
Wait, what do you mean there's a doctor? Are you talking about the doctor that has... Or am I just...
I saw that coming from...
Yeah.
I didn't, and I didn't, and I'm sitting right next to him. Yeah, Miracle Cure, the 12-minute song that I have no comment on.
12-second
12-minute.
Yeah.
12-second song?
Yeah. Oh, did I say 12-minute?
Yep.
Oh God, don't make this a 12-minute song. That would be...
Okay.
What is this?
This is a picture of Pete looking really angry.
Okay.
Like he did in most of his pictures anyways.
No, but this one especially, though. Like, he's just like...
He's got the grumpy
His
cat
face
face.
is an actual parabola. I don't...
He's got the grumpy cat face.
Like, dead on, too.
Alright, anyway.
That should
what
be
were
it.
you saying about...
I was saying...
Da 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 da.